they tried to reassure Americans that the country could weather a record-smashing surge in cases of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus.
We're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together.
But Biden tweeted.
Well, Happy New Year. I was planning to make a New Year's video message to try to inspire and tell you about some of the changes coming to my channel in the new year. Instead, I caught COVID. Literally on New Year's Day, I got sick. I started having flu symptoms, fever, chills, body aches. So the next day, I went to the Long Beach VA hospital for a test, and sure enough, I tested positive. I'm feeling better now. I'm still pretty weak, and I've been isolated in this bedroom for now 4 or 5 days, which has not been fun. Luckily, Stephanie and Christina have been really great by making me meals and leaving them at the door. We're trying, though, not to have any contact at all in the house, no actual contact. But because I'm feeling a little bit better, I wanted to have some fun this morning, and I made that little intro for you, and that was the most fun I've had in a long time. Now, you probably don't realize how much I love the movie making process. Setting up the camera, getting focus, making sure the lighting is good, getting the audio sounds, putting it all together in editing, everything. With that said, I want to give you an update on my plans for the new year with this channel. I'm actually super excited about it. Before we can get into that, I need to explain some history of my interest in filmmaking. So when I was in college in Missouri, I studied communications with an emphasis in media and filmmaking. I was really into it. I worked as a production assistant and a camera assistant on an independent film right after college. I loved it. I loved the creative process and the cinematography. But instead of following my passion after college, I took a more traditional career path and I went to law school. I was thinking that law school would be a safer choice. First off, don't do that. Don't do things because you think they're the safer choice. Now, I don't regret going to law school. I don't regret those experiences that it allowed me to have. Several law jobs that were great. I then did 5 years of active duty in the Navy as a Navy JAG attorney. Those were incredible experiences, don't get me wrong. But when I left the Navy, I turned 40, and maybe it was a midlife thing, but a light bulb went off. Whenever I realized I had a choice to either do something I loved, go back to kind of my roots, my passion, or stay in doing something that was safe, but I wasn't really that into. So I started making videos. Specifically, I started making more YouTube videos. I even started a small production company called Post Media Works. Now, both of these projects, my YouTube and my production company, have been growing steadily. In fact, my production company, I just did a gig a couple of weeks ago where I worked for LA Metro. They do all the buses and subways in LA. I shot a training video for them where I was the director and camera operator. It was really an incredible experience. I felt like I was finally making progress. But my YouTube stuff has really leveled off. It's not really growing at a strong pace at all. Now hear me out. If my YouTube channel were a stock on the stock market, my stock might look like this, very flat, with only small growth. Probably not even enough growth to be profitable or sustainable. So that brings me to the update of my channel. I guess I'm at a crossroads. I can either give up altogether and focus on my production company and my other side projects. For example, I just recently became a yacht salesperson. It's kind of like a real estate agent, except you're selling boats. I could focus on that. I still could do my law work. But in reality, I love making these YouTube videos. So instead of giving up, I'm going to lean in more and work even harder. With each video I make, I learn more. I learn more about the videography, the sound quality, the editing, all of that. And I will continue to grow in that regard. Plus, it's going to always help me in honing my skills whenever I get hired for production gigs. And most importantly, I love sharing stories with you. While many of you probably know me because of my sailing videos, that's only a small part of my life. In the new year, I want to start sharing more stories with you. Maybe it's my motorcycling. Maybe it's going to horse races. You probably didn't know that about me. Maybe it's traveling. Maybe it's I'll take you along with me whenever I ride around on my BMX bike I just recently bought from Walmart that I have a lot of fun on. I want to do more interviewing of interesting people and sharing that with you. I'll still be doing a lot of boat work and boating, sailing, and I'm going to share that as well. So I really set up my channel originally because I wanted to tell interesting life stories. Now, some of you in California may remember a TV personality named Huell Hauser. He had a TV show in California. He had an infectious, almost Forrest Gump-like personality that was pleasant and disarming. He loved finding interesting human stories throughout the state and sharing those stories with the viewers. He was great. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he's someone I really admire. It's all about sharing things of interest with your fellow humans. Almost like you're from way back in caveman days, sharing stories around the campfire. And that's what makes life interesting. Now with the YouTube channel, I simply wanted to make an impact, to inspire others, to share these human connections that we can all relate to. Now, if I'm able to make a little money for it, that would be great because I'm working more than a full-time job doing the editing and everything. So that's what I'm pushing for. Steady growth of my channel, the ability to use YouTube to make a living wage, which will allow me to keep doing more and more of what I love. So I'm planning more videos, more frequently, and on different topics. Now look, I realize if I stray from doing the sailing only videos, I may lose some people. That's fine. For me, I think that's growing pains. So my business, which is partially this channel, needs a shakeup. It may fail, it may completely tank, but it also may succeed more than I could ever imagine. But I don't want to stay in this place of mediocrity. I'd much rather try something new and fail than stay in this place of mediocrity. And by the way, as someone who sees this as a small business, it's not just about getting subscribers or viewers for my ego, but when you look at it like it's a business, it's like a magazine publisher or a newspaper publisher or a small local cable channel. You have to have viewers and readers to keep going. You have to have a subscription base. That's how I see it. One of the most amazing things about YouTube is that I, as a one-man band, can have a small size cable channel, so to speak, a small business doing something I'm passionate about. That's what's great about it. For me, it's not all about getting a bunch of likes so I can feel like I'm an influencer. I'm not into that. I'm into making quality media programming for you. YouTube is my television network, and I'm producing a show. That's how I see it. Let me just conclude with a story as to why you should never give up. There was a company in the 80s. It was a computer company. You may have heard of it, called Apple. Well, Apple was doing pretty well, but around 1985, the company's board pushed out Steve Jobs. They pushed him away from the company. So for the next 12 years, the company was really struggling. They were losing money. They almost went bankrupt. But they stayed alive. They kept trying new things. They got some other financial backing. They kept pushing despite the fact that they were failing. After this 12-year slump, Apple brought back Steve Jobs in 1997. It was at that point that Apple started to innovate and thrive. They released tons of new products. They started to grow rapidly. And as you know, today, Apple is the most valuable company in the world. And just this week, Apple was the first company ever to reach $3 trillion market value. That's crazy. So, just imagine if Apple would have given up during the tough times in the 80s and 90s. I'll repeat, they had 12 years of tough times, but they kept going. So you and I can surely make it through a year or two of tough times and slow growth. If you're like me and you aren't satisfied with mediocrity, I believe there is still room to succeed and to become bigger and better, but you have to take risk and you have to continue to work hard. So that's my promise for 2022. Bigger, better, always growing, always improving, sharing interesting stories with you, and I challenge you to look at your own life. Look at your own life this year and take on challenges where you can grow and improve at life. First though, stay healthy, stay safe. Thanks for watching. Here's to an incredible year. Thanks for your support. I look forward to getting to know more about each other on an authentic and personal level in the new year. All right, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.